Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and we've got my buddy Satoshi Sean with me today. I've got a couple questions with what's going on in Canada and some threats Giuliani is throwing around or some statements he's making. So I thought I'd get a little help from my buddy Sean. So we'll be right back after this. Hey there, Sean. How are you today? Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, too.
Thank you.
I'm doing fine. Great to be here.
Great to be here. You're all ready for all my questions for you, then.
Yeah.
Or some of my questions.
There's so much craziness going on in the world.
There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. I guess the big game this weekend, and everybody saw, I had heard there were 5. I didn't watch the big game, of course, but I'd heard there were 5 different crypto commercials. I thought it was hilarious that I guess the big Coinbase was just a QR code that was basically like a screensaver that bounced around.
Yeah.
And then it failed or went down or was a big 404 was the news, which was kind of classic for Coinbase. So I don't know what kind of marketing strategy that was. Just setting people up to set their expectations low when you get into Coinbase.
It's crazy how far we've come, though. I mean, we got crypto in the Super Bowl. We have literally a crypto bowl, stadium, the crypto.com stadium now.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Crazy how far we've come.
It is. And yet the price does not reflect that.
But it has come back a lot. Litecoin's finally up over 120.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to dip below $100, man. I was freaking out.
Well, my son was not happy today. We're finishing up our schoolwork, and he was not happy with me because he came home and the first thing he does is check his wallet when he gets home. And he's like, "Mom, my Litecoin is down." I said, "Well, honey, everyone's is." And he's like, "But mine is." I was like, "Well, it'll go back up."
Yeah, I sent my niece some Litecoin, and the next day I was like, "Hey, your Litecoin." She goes, "No, it's not. I sold it."
Oh no!
She goes, "I sold it as soon as you sent it to me. Last time it went down, I lost like $20." And I was like, I would tell you when to sell it. You shouldn't have sold it.
Yeah, listen to Uncle Sean. Wait. Wow. So did you watch the game?
Yeah,
with
I
your
watched
boys?
It was all right. I mean, I didn't care because I didn't really care about either team, but it was for Super Bowls. It was pretty good. It wasn't like 1,000,000-7 or something. It was not one sided. It was like a decent game, so it was okay. Nothing
kept your interest.
Nothing great. That was super unfair that they had the home team advantage. There's like so many things that like statistically give one team the advantage, and they had like everything. I think even the coin toss was like statistically that it was all in their favor, and and it was still close. But there's a big joke here in Texas that the NFL is going to make sure that there's never going to be that happen again where a team will have the home team advantage. So they're going to have all of them in Texas at the Cowboys Stadium.
Because the Cowboys would never win.
So, yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Funny.
Bump.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Poor Cowboys. Too funny. So let's see. I don't even know. There was a big SEC, I guess it was an agreement or arrangement that they came to on BlockFi. I think I sent you that link. Did I send you that link? Maybe I didn't send you that link. I did not send you that link. I just posted it on mine. There was, sorry about that. It was like $100 million settlement agreement that BlockFi is supposedly paying the SEC. Where did I put it? Yeah, here it is.
Trudeau, a dictator, martial law.
Yeah, that was what I mostly wanted to talk to you about, but I figured we hit a couple of...
Dr. Malone was bringing up Bitcoin
yes,
for the money thing. Which is,
I thought that was interesting too, because, you know, with the whole trucker thing, there was the whole, you know, GoFundMe, and then they canceled them, you know, or stopped people from sending. And then, you know, that whole mess happened. And I do have that video that I sent you. I can play for people. I thought that was interesting.
Was first raised.
Whoops. Make sure my volume's up enough and you guys can hear it.
On that infamous Dark Horse podcast. How has this coordination been happening, and why is it happening? What we clearly have now is, as the senator correctly identified, smoking gun evidence of the collusion between big tech, government, and big banks. And we saw that with the videotaped Zoom conference with the Ottawa Mayor's Group, in which they flat out acknowledged that they had been colluding with GoFundMe and Silicon Valley and the banks to pull the $10 million in political donations that have been made to the Canadian truckers to sustain them. Mm. This cannot be overlooked, the importance of this. All of the Bitcoin people are basically seeing, say, I told you so, about what's coming at us in terms of the manipulation of the financial sector.
And the weaponizing of the financial sector. And that Bitcoin basically being the way to have freedom of speech, right?
Well, yeah. It's gotten a lot worse, though, which, yeah, it's super bad. So they're like, okay, fine. You know, GoFundMe screwed us over. They're, you know, they're, like you said, playing ball with government and big tech and fascism and whatever you want to say. So they went around it and went to, there's like a Christian one, and even using Bitcoin. They started using crypto, and it was something like, I think it was like 9 Bitcoin or something like that was raised. So the whatever Canadian Attorney General, you know, that guy, whatever British term they use, he went to a judge and he got the judge to issue an order that made it illegal for you or me or anyone to give money to the truckers. Didn't matter how you did it. To give them money is now illegal.
Oh, that's new to me.
Even if you use cryptocurrency or whatever, you can't give money to the group. It's basically like, if, hey, I'd really like to give some money to ISIS. Well, you can't do that. It's you know, it's like funding terrorism. But there's a whole bunch of there's supposed to be a whole bunch of steps involved. Like that has to be recognized as a terrorist group, and then it has to be put on a list, and so on and so forth. and then you can't give money to that group or fund it in some way. But they literally just got a judge to issue an order that no one can give any money to the truckers' protest in any way, shape, or form, or it's illegal. So even if you use crypto, they're trying to say that it's illegal.
They're still trying to stop that.
Right, because basically, like he said, we came out and said, okay, fine, we can just use crypto. Even if you can track it, like I'll tell you, yeah, I gave money to the truckers. What are you going to do about it? But you can't confiscate it or stop it because it's crypto. So they just, okay, we'll just, with one stroke, we'll just make it illegal for them to accept it or for you to give it to them. Which that's a huge thing. And I've seen a lot of, videos where people are saying, this is like unprecedented. This is them telling anyone, basically they're telling Americans that you can't give money to people because they're not even really a recognized.
They're not. They're not even an organization.
Yeah.
They're just individuals that are out there.
They're like helping, like a GoFundMe. It's basically peer to peer in its truest form, and they're
who else? They just shut down the pillow guy. Did you send me that article?
No, but they've been talking about that for a while.
They just shut down his bank accounts again.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that.
As well. Somebody just sent me that.
It's so dumb. It makes me think of the Jon Stewart thing that you sent. Because these, like ultra left-wing liberal.
Well, and there's another one of those too. The Bill Maher one, where he's like now switched to and said like he did this whole comedy act where he's like, yeah, the left had made me a hero of the right because they act so stupid, Yeah. And basically, I'm a comedian, and whoever does the dumbest stuff.
Far left. I mean, there's so many people that are far left, but they're intelligent. They're not stupid. And there's a lot of people that are far left, but they're dumb. They're just actors. They just have. They basically can memorize some lines, and they look good. Whereas like Stewart and a lot of comedians, they have some quick wit and intelligence, and you can fool them. They're fools. Like Stewart's been a fool, and a lot of those people have been fools, but that's only because they were fooled. And the trick is you have to have discourse, because they'll say, oh, because you're stupid, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you're dumb, because the government told us this, and that's the way it is. And they'll say that because they're fooled and you can't change their mind. I've learned that. There's no matter how many facts you throw at them, and you can't win the argument. What wins the argument is when their side says something that they see as dumb.
Right.
That's when they say, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
That's what's starting to happen. Yeah. And
that's what's starting to happen. When they're like, wear 4 masks. Now you don't need to wear any. And then when they see, when they see pictures of, Stacey Abrams sitting there with no masks and just these little kids, suffocating behind masks
behind her. Yeah.
She's just like, hey, it's like they wake up and they're like, wait a minute, this is because they're not stupid. They're just fooled.
Do you want me to play this one real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much currency that has been sort of created out of thin air has been added into this economy through the Fed? What would you put as a figure? Would it be 6 trillion? Is that too much?
It would be, 6 trillion in terms of deposits with the banks and currency. Be 6 to 7 trillion.
Okay. That they're just injecting into it sort of out of nothing.
Out of nothing. They're the central bank of the United States. Now, think about it. It's just another form of government debt. Am I making sense?
It makes sense in the make-believe world of Conjuring. Like, there is a certain part of this that all feels like a mirage to some extent. Do you know what I mean? It all
Yeah,
seems sort
yeah.
of fake.
Well, it's a fiduciary system. It's all faith-based. Right?
Oh my Lord.
Yes, you got to have confidence in that currency, in that dollar, because there's nothing backing. There's no gold backing.
So it's in some ways it's a mass delusion.
Well,
How much?
It's a mass delusion. Yeah.
And you can hear the like the excitement and passion, like he just figured this some big secret out. But it's like obvious, you know. He's like, "Are you telling me the water is wet? Seriously?" You're like, yeah, man, water's wet, dude. They're just injecting it out of nothing. It's like nothing. Yeah, it's out of nothing, man.
And we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, him, Mar, basically anyone with intelligence is coming out and waking up, and then the people with intelligence are really being kind of their colors are coming through, like Colbert. I mean, and Kimmel, and it's like you can just see they're disgusting propaganda peddlers, man. You know, they're not fooled. They're just completely on board, and they're turning in the Jews, you know, handing over lists. They're not even pretending, you know. It's coming to an end. I think it is.
I don't know. It's shocking to me. I'm just, I don't know. I guess it is because you're seeing these convoys everywhere. I mean, that's what, it's not just in Canada. I was seeing it all over today.
France is a big one. Yeah.
France, there was Italy. There was, this morning, it was just like, I was seeing one country after the other. They were like, where were they? Somewhere in Norway, they were saying, here's a Jerusalem.
It's just like I Can't Breathe. The George
convoy arrives in EU.
Yeah, it's just like I Can't Breathe with George Floyd. It was all over. It was all over Europe. You know, there are people, kids in Ireland. I Can't Breathe. The world has become a much smaller place, and I wish it was the United States that was leading this. But I'm glad that the Canadian truckers are doing it. I'm glad that they're setting the example. But I mean, it's called a convoy. The convoy movement. It's all over Europe. It's in there's been like violent outbreaks now in France, where the Gilets jaunes have been doing this for what, like 2 years, 3 years.
Right. Didn't it start with the yellow vest thing?
That's the Gilets jaunes. The yellow vest.
Yeah.
They've been just constantly. Yeah, they're not giving up, and now they're pissed. But what I'm seeing, you know, with Canada is it's very extreme. Like the government, especially Trudeau, he's like willing to go into these really dark waters. And
he's kind of gone to this pulled the last card or the last straw where he's pulling these emergency measures.
But a lot of the police are starting to stand up against it.
And not only the police, but the local government. So although he's pulled this last straw, which is something, it hasn't been used since his father used it, is my understanding, and was the last time it was used. And of course, now I can't find the document of or the statement of what it was. Where is it? Here it is. Emergency acts that will be.
It's like 98.
But, okay, so they'll Trudeau's cabinet is discussing the emergency acts, and tomorrow the provinces will be consulted on its invocation, but there's no need for provinces to agree for it to be invoked. It's just they'll be consulted. But I'd actually heard that the local provinces, the leadership of the local provinces, were standing up against it and saying no. And
Yeah,
that
it's like us having states, like our state, like
Right.
Texas says, we won't have any mandates. Their
Right.
provinces are rescinding a lot of the mandates, but the national mandates are still there. It's just like kind of our states are just not going to listen to the federal government. That's what they're starting to do. But
well, and then I had also seen that he was
just go
bringing
steal
in
their
some kind
gas.
of
Just go steal people's gas. Have the police go take people's gas.
Well, that he was bringing in some kind of federal police, but not using their military or something like that, too.
But
I had read
I don't know if
an
you've
article.
seen this, but I've seen probably 15 videos of men and women police officers, high-ranking police officers even. They're like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm making this video. Like that. Remember when that one soldier, he would, after the stuff that happened in Afghanistan happened, he came out and he got court-martialed, and that Marine.
No.
Remember the Marine? He's like, he made the video. It's like, hey, you know, I'm a colonel, or yeah, I'm a colonel. If I screw up, I have to be accountable. You know, our leaders and the Joint Chiefs have to be accountable for this. You know, I know I'm going to be in trouble. And he got kicked out of the military.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of police officers are coming out saying, hey, you know, we're not going to do this anymore. I'm calling on.
Well, Trudeau's own head security officer for 8 years stood up and resigned because he said this goes against the oath that I swore to this office. And
yeah, that's the thing that they're saying. They're saying, hey, this
Yeah.
goes against our oath. And
Yeah.
that's something that we need here.
Mhm.
Because it still blows my mind that you can become a cop or a soldier and you take an oath to the Constitution, but you don't have to read the Constitution. You don't have to prove
No,
that you've
he's
read
tough.
it.
Yeah.
You can't take an oath to it without knowing what you're taking an oath to. And if people did, then there wouldn't be a lot of the problems that there are. But yeah.
Also, if we taught that in schools or in the home.
like a civics class.
Yeah.
They used to have those until the 60s, when people learned that they had
rights.
They had rights, civics.
They're like,
And they
we need
learned
to
about
stop
it. They're like,
doing
hey,
that.
let's stop teaching that civics class. Let's
Mhm.
teach government. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen multiple videos, and they're not pulling punches. They're like, hey, I'm standing up. I'm going to be in trouble. But if everyone stands up, or if enough of us stand up, then no one will be in trouble.
Mhm.
Like you had said, just, if people, and that's something that people don't understand, that government is not a real thing. Laws aren't real. They're just ideas. And if no one believes in them, then they're not real. If you're driving down the road and you hit, and at the speed limit is 55, if you hit 56, you don't die.
Right. Think about all the there's all these old ridiculous laws on the books still, like oh gosh, like you can't tie up your horse on Main Street in downtown, whatever. That they just don't go away. They don't get unwritten off the books. Or you have that one, which I don't like bathroom humor, but where your friend got in trouble for farting on somebody.
And here you can get hung if you have wire cutters in your back pocket.
Right.
Because of a horse wrestling.
Yeah.
Horse wrestling.
Horse thieving.
What else? Oh, it's against the law to ride on the roof of an ambulance.
Roof of an ambulance.
Yeah, that's one. I remember that one's a weird one. Technically, homosexuality is is against the law in a lot of states.
Mm.
I remember we learned that in high school, sodomy laws, and
Interesting.
so it's like sodomy is against the law, and if it's against the law in the state, that's basically it is homosexual sex. And I remember I got in trouble because I was like, how do they enforce that? Like if you're going
Who is
down
there
on
watching?
your girlfriend and the police come in, you don't have to say you were doing it. You could say you're just looking really close. I got sent to the office for that though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Like Anderson,
interesting. Okay. Anyway,
But yeah, a lot of weird laws.
so it sounds like really weird.
There's no law for that's something that he's doing. He's making laws up as a dictator. Like
Yes.
he said, go and take their gas cans away so they don't have gas. So the police said, we're going to take your gas. Why? Because we were told
that's not even going through the proper.
No, and that's being a dictator. But also those police should not have done that. Those were government thugs. Those are jackboots. Those are brown shirts, man. They should not have done that. And then everybody trolled them, and everyone just brought gas cans full of water, and they were going around grabbing everyone's gas cans, literally taking people's property for under no law. There was no law at all.
So is that already under martial law then?
No,
is the state is Canada already technically under martial law?
No, martial law would be illegal. He just said, "Hey, go to steal people's gas cans. Don't let them have it." That's not anywhere legal. That's tyranny. Martial law is just taking the civilian government away and replacing it with a military.
Because that's what I've been hearing, that this, basically this emergency act will basically create a military or we'll put them in that situation. We'll put them in the, let's see, I'm in the wrong one. In the situation of martial law. And so then I had all these questions about martial law and how that affects the people in that situation. And, martial law, how could that be?
Question on martial law for Canada.
Okay.
The United States, I think we're in trouble here. I think we're in trouble for
lots of reasons, because I started looking up who's in charge then.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, because look who is, even if they arrest Sleepy Joe, then the next person in charge of the military, the highest ranking, is Milley.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think in the United States, we're screwed. Our leadership of the military is bad, is crap.
So that has to get cleaned up before anything like that could happen here.
They've been working on that for a long time to create people in those positions. I don't know if the military in Canada has been structured the same way. I think if you hand over the authority and power to the military, they might just fix shit.
In Canada?
I mean, it's kind of, you're screwing yourself. If you hand over authority to the military and say you have total control, and then the military turns around and says, hey, you've been violating our Constitution and our charter, or whatever it's called. You're under arrest under the authority that you just gave me, and you're no longer the prime minister. I could see that happening, but I don't know a lot about the Canadian military. I know that the leadership, in our military, it's all political and well,
that's where I was, watching Uncle Cliff and learning about, law of war and all this. And then I'm hearing about this martial law idea, and then I get down to, okay, well, who's in charge? And then hit a wall. So some of that has to get cleaned up here before that's going to be okay for us. But maybe some of that is getting cleaned up with, because there was where is it? I'm on the wrong page. I thought this was a really strange Business Insider article. I thought that Giuliani said that he was, if Trump had imposed martial law after the election, that we would all have ended up in prison. And I thought, what in the world is he talking about? So they're saying that he did not, but there were multiple scenarios in which federal agencies, could have jumped in there. And this is more about like seizing machines and things like that. And I know we have to be careful with our words, but let's see. They were saying that that Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell were trying to suggest that to Trump. And then Powell and Byrne went to the Oval Office, laid out a plan that involved deploying the military to seize machines. So maybe he was saying that would get them in trouble if he had done that. But now they're talking about, the Durham report came out, and now there's all these emails coming out. Trump's attorney just gave the January 6th people a bunch of emails. I don't know. There's just so much going on right now that and with what's going on in Canada,
I think something is interesting, and we mentioned this in the beginning, how this is become a worldwide phenomenon that the United States is definitely not at the forefront of. But the convoy movement is just ripping across Europe, and I think if this is a powder keg that blows up here with if Trudeau pushes, and it's not the truckers, it's the Canadian people and the military and the police. If they push back, I've also seen a lot of the videos made by Canadian military. Same thing as the police.
which they have started arresting people. I saw that today as well.
Well, but I think
I don't think that's going to go well.
That, and there's a big explosion and there's a pushback. I think that's going to blow up across Europe as well. And I really think that is why the administration is pushing for this Ukraine thing so hard. I think that's why they're really trying to get everyone scared, especially across Europe. That war is coming to Europe again.
But did you see the Ukraine president call out Biden and say that he demands proof of this fear porn, that you keep saying that you have this proof that Russia's going to invade Ukraine, and if you have evidence of that, I want to see it, because I'm tired of you scaring my people, basically.
It was the New York Times or Washington Post, where they put out that they had already that Russia had invaded.
Oh, you're kidding?
Like, huh?
They put out that it had happened.
A story that it happened, that they've already done it, that Russia is completely invaded, and it was moving forward. And it was up for like 27 or 47 minutes, and they took it down, and they said, "Oh, that's a pre-written story that we have ready to go." But it was still up for a while, and then right. The AP and other people picked it up. So it's still like it was basically, I think, a targeted leak. to try and get some FUD out there.
But it's a distraction for what's going on, to cover up,
Which I think a lot
the
of it
Durham information. I mean,
I
a
think it's
lot
in
of
Europe
this is
is
a
trying to cover up
distraction.
the movement of what's happening with the convoy across Europe. They want to scare the Europeans back into their houses and out of the streets.
Well, I guess there's
if you
that
can
too.
make if it's just some uneducated Canadian drivers, that's like like Trudeau's saying, some fringe rabble rousers,
which we know it's not.
But if it's not, and it's people in France, if it's people in Germany, if it's people in Britain,
Jerusalem now.
That's not just some fringe people in Canada. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're pushing this so hard.
And it's not just truckers; it's the farmers are joining them now. The people of the cities are joining them now. It's all the communities. It's not it started with the truckers, but it's not just the truckers. People are coming out and joining them. But yeah, so this is the Ukraine president. He's gone on in press conferences and said this. Now he's coming out again and calling out the media, saying they're liars. I think there's too much information out there today.
I did see on Vice News that Russia had, in fact, invaded, that they were technically over the border and had set up in the border towns on the other side of the border. That was a video on Vice News. I don't know if you can look it up. But
I'll look for it.
It was a special detachment of Russian forces. They were these special police that I think were from Belarus, and they were really, really bad. So their whole unit was disbanded, but it was reunited under a different name, and that's the detachment that's there at the new checkpoint, which is supposed to be over the border in Ukraine.
So one of the things I heard was that, is it Vice News you said?
Yeah, it was Vice.
I can't even find Vice News. That's weird. Was that that actually that part of Ukraine, most of those people speak Russian, they identify as Russian, that it's kind of like if you said, well, Texas should be should be owned by Mexico because originally it was Mexican, for that kind of thing, which I thought was an interesting way that most people would be fine with Russia taking Ukraine. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. Okay, here's Vice. Hackers leaked the name of Freedom Convoy donors. Well, that's interesting. Where's the search on this site? Oh, whoops.
First video evidence of Russians among Ukrainian separatists. Oh, geez, no, let me try to, where are we at?
Oligarchs flee Ukraine on private jets in face of potential Russian invasion. It's still potential. It's all this potential.
Here, where are we at? Relevance. Here we go. Upload date. It's this guy with glasses.
You found it?
No. That's weird. I'm sure it was Vice News. Let's see. That's not it.
There's one on there about a potential, but not a.
Huh.
Yeah, it all seems just to be threats and manipulation, and
I can't find it. I know it was Vice. Try Vice. King. No, same thing. Russia's little green men. Oh my God. Got to do the filter every time. Or it just gives you the. Here we go. That's a lady.
Oh, you're remembering the picture on the thing?
Yeah, it was this guy with glasses, and they grabbed him, and they tried to grab the cameraman. He ran back to he ran away from the checkpoint. He got away, and then they let them go because it was. Here we go.
Did you find it?
It's this dude. The following content has been identified by the YouTube community as inappropriate or offensive to some audiences. Warning: graphic content. It's this dude.
Did you send me the link?
Selfie soldiers checks into Ukraine. Oh well.
Oh, Daddy-O said he found it.
This is bullshit.
Hold on.
So I can't find the story, but I can find.
Hold on, Daddy-O. My friend found it. So
I can find the story of the guy talking about his kidnapping.
Hold on. One of my patrons found it. Daddy-O found it. He's got a new YouTube channel. You guys can go check out Daddy-O on YouTube.
I found a video of him talking about getting kidnapped, but not the actual.
Oh, he found the one that accidentally reports that they invaded Ukraine. Is that what you were looking for?
No. Okay, so I sent the link here. The
Okay.
second one. You see that?
Sorry, hold on.
So that's a video of the guy talking about the video that I was talking about. So I can't find the one where he actually gets grabbed by the soldiers, but then this is him talking about it.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, I did see it, and he was interviewing the Ukraine soldiers on the checkpoint, and the commander of the checkpoint, he asked him, "Are you Russian?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm Russian. I have Russian blood, but I'm Ukrainian, and it's an invading force, so we're going to defend our country." And he asked him, "Have they already crossed the border?" And he's like, "Yeah, technically they have. They're inside of Ukraine." So, but it's a very disputed area, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming in from Crimea, and Putin has a valid point. NATO's not good really anymore. Okay. So Putin has Crimea. Russia has Crimea. And if we bring Ukraine into NATO, then our hands are tied. So if Ukraine invades Crimea, NATO has to attack Russia. They're legally bound to attack Russia to defend Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if anyone attacks France, if anyone attacks Germany, every country has to. That's why nobody messes with Turkey. Turkey's the biggest pain in the ass because they know that if anybody messes with them, every European country in NATO will have to crush whoever messes with Turkey. And Turkey does like to kind of push us on that. And Putin is nervous about that because in Russia, the Soviet Union, they have abused the shit out of Ukraine. Horrible, like mass genocides. It's been just the worst. So if Ukraine wanted to kind of just be a dick, they could literally destroy the world. And we're starting to talk about nuclear weapons again, which we haven't since I was a kid, man. You know, it's a little unnerving.
Well, but in the law of war, those have all been like, you're not allowed to use those. You're not allowed to use biochemical war, which we know now.
We've used them.
It's been used. Yeah.
Bio stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't mean to be the doom and gloomer that I usually am, but let's say that Bill Gates and other people did have an agenda that didn't quite work. A couple of those bombs would do what they want.
Yeah. That's true. You want me to play this real quick?
It's 22 minutes. So.
Oh, it's 22 minutes. Oh my God. Not really quick. Okay. So this is that guy saying, but you gave us the update or the cliff notes of it.
But it was, it's just like the Middle East, man. It really is. It's been going on for a long time. You know, these problems.
I'll put it in the chat so you guys can watch it if you want.
They're not going to be solved overnight. And it's a mess. Ooh.
Don't fade on me. You're almost done.
No, I'm good.
Really interesting. Well, I don't know. The whole martial law thing, like I was really looking into the law of war and following some of that and trying to educate myself on some of that and feeling hopeful.
I was shocked that we've had martial law in the United States 68 times.
I was too.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, when were some of those examples? What did that look like?
Well, I think
you know when
they declare it in can we all just get along, guy? When LA was blowing up.
Would that have been one of those times?
Yeah, because it said it was in specific areas. So it was. I know that it has been declared nationally, but I think it was like maybe after Pearl Harbor, or there was like huge things.
It says during times of war, or
Rodney King. That's okay. It, Rodney King. I'm pretty sure that they did that in LA.
How many times? Says it has been imposed at least 68 times in limited, usually local areas of the U.S. What are the two types of martial law? Qualified, which is military aids the civilian law enforcement, or absolute, military has complete control over law enforcement. Okay, what happens when military martial law is declared? Martial law involves the temporary substitution of military authority for civilian rule and is usually invoked in a time of war, rebellion, or natural disaster. When martial law is in effect, the military commander of an area or country has unlimited authority to make and enforce laws. So it could be area, and it
Now,
could be
during
our National Guard,
in
or
this is something that people don't know about, and I encourage. I'm gonna be a little rice here. I encourage you guys to look up this stuff because it is the scariest thing you'll ever look at. I think it was during Katrina or one of those. It was in Louisiana, and there was martial law, and the military went around and took everyone's guns away from them for no reason whatsoever. They beat people and took their guns and destroyed them or just took them. The Second Amendment was stripped. People were raped and murdered, like all over the place, while in custody, while in the Superdome there.
I heard that was horrible.
Yeah, but they went around to they just took people's guns for no reason. Like they went to because people were like hunkered down in communities, like they would be at the local bar, and there's 20 families, and they would go in there and just took everyone's guns away from them. Like the bar owner, they went into their property, took all their guns up, and then never gave them back.
Wow.
Yeah, they took guns. It was Katrina. Yeah, JDO said. Yeah, just look that up, man. The stories and reports and things you'll see will be it's an eye opener because it's America, man. It's America. And, everyone, I know how I would be. I'm not, and everyone says, oh, I wouldn't let this, and you'll, prime from a cold, dead hands. And that's how it's going to be, dude. I know. And
I think it would be pretty shocking. I mean, if the military walks in somewhere.
Yeah, they were just National Guard, man. They're
Yeah,
like, hey, we're going to take take them away. And if you said, no, this is my guns, it's private property, dude. These are my property. They give you a rifle butt to the face and take your guns. In the United States, for no reason other than it rained real bad. That's literally it. When people needed their weapons to defend themselves
right,
from looters, there was no water, there was no electricity. It was literally like a mini post-apocalypse, world for a month or so. And they took away people's means to defend themselves. I don't know. See, they can't do that to the whole country, Hankowitz. But why not? What's the difference? What's the difference between a major metropolitan area? What's the difference between a state and the country? I'll tell you what, they could do it a lot easier in New Jersey than they could in Louisiana, and they did it in Louisiana. They could do it a lot easier in the whole tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, I'd even say. All of those easier than Louisiana, and they did it in Louisiana. They did it. It's already been done. You can go watch videos on it. It's disgusting and horrifying. When I watched this stuff, I was just dismayed. I mean, they've already had red flag laws in New Jersey and other places where police have just went and took away people's guns. Mm-hmm. And those that's the thing. I don't support police. Those are government thugs. Those are jackboots. That's not law enforcement. Support law enforcement. And law enforcement should support the people. It should go both ways. And if there's a lot of sheriffs that they'll get an order like that and they're like, no, we're not going to do this.
Right. Because the sheriff does take an oath to the Constitution.
And to the county.
I don't know if the police take an oath to the Constitution. I know that the sheriff does.
Every police officer does.
They do?
Every police officer does, yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew the sheriff did, but I didn't know the police officers do too. I thought the police officers do like uphold the, city law and the right to serve and protect and all that. But I knew sheriffs
If you become a
specifically
police officer
to
and
the
you go
Constitution.
through any kind of a, what's it called, academy, you have to take an oath. That's what your job is to uphold the Constitution and to. I mean, it's been, and that's it's hard.
Yeah, I don't think that
Police officers become police officers usually.
Yeah, but I think police are policy, like Mr. X is saying, and they're policy and legal, and the sheriff is more about the law and the Constitution. Like I don't
No,
know.
all police. Their
Police.
job is to enforce the laws of Congress. They are not there to protect you. Their job is not to protect you. Their job is not to help you. Their job is not to serve you. If someone is going to murder you, their job is not to save you. Their job is not to help you. Their job is not to stop you from being murdered. Their job is to stop the guy from breaking the law who's going to commit a murder. That's it. That's what the Supreme Court has ruled multiple times. Now, people become police officers to serve their community.
Right.
People become police officers to help people. People become police officers to do all the right things, but that's not what their job is. It's went before the Supreme Court like 7-8 times. It's been ruled.
Interesting.
They're just there to enforce the laws that Congress passes. If they were there to protect people, then if they go to pull someone over for a taillight and that person takes off, they're not going to put everyone at risk by making a high-speed chase. They're like, we got the person's, the only crime we know that they have committed is having a taillight out. We're not going to put everyone at risk. But they don't care about keeping everyone safe. Their job is to enforce that law and that's why they put everyone at risk when they take off. It's sad, but that's the truth. But yeah, all police officers have to take an oath to the Constitution.
Okay, I was not aware of that.
Sheriffs are elected. They are much more the police of the people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Well, it's encouraging, I guess. My one little bit of hopium is that there's 2 different kinds of military, or martial law. So they're, the one that aids in civilian law enforcement versus the absolute, which is the where military has complete control over law enforcement. So I don't know, but pretty crazy.
I was talking with Rice, and everyone keeps talking about a Civil War 2.0, and I said that I think it's gotten to the point where that's not a real thing anymore.
Yeah, who are we fighting against?
That's the thing. I think it's not a civil war anymore. I think it's literally a revolutionary war. If it happens, it's elites. It's a small cadre of evil doers, basically, versus the people. It's not us versus them. It's not brother versus brother. It's not cousin versus cousin. It's literally, a revolution again.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. Like there's no one to fight. It's a system.
That's why they keep trying to make it about us versus them.
Yeah.
And black versus white, and
they're like, wait, there's not mad at somebody else. Who else can we? Oh, we're going to get a mask versus no mask.
Because
jab versus no jabber.
They're very scared that once we, if we stop arguing with each other, their numbers are pretty few.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you helping me figure some of that out, because I was just trying to unpack that in my head and it was not making any sense. And I don't know that I have any more answers. I have a lot more questions, but we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. I thought it was incredible that big story broke with, Durham coming out with all that information. about the spying and why that's so significant. And when I read about in law of war, that the significance of spying or espionage in law of war, why that's such a big deal.
Hey,
And
did
then
you get your government crack pipes?
I have not, but I'm trying to work on getting a contract for that. I have a friend that has a glass blowing shop here in Oklahoma City, and I thought maybe I could help them get a contract.
$30 million, man.
Yeah, because I think that'll be very, a great thing for somebody. Insane.
Okay, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's
I
just
see
ridiculous.
I can see the conversation at Christmas. Hunter's like, "Hey, Dad, can you get some free crack pipes for me and my buddies?" It's like, "Sure, son. How about $30 million worth?" "Yeah, Dad, that's cool. I got a plan."
I'm sure that's what went down.
Yeah.
Mercy. All right. Well, we'll see what goes down. I am going to have Divvy Daddy on tomorrow. Super excited to talk to him. He's got a ton of experience with mining crypto, and he lives the crypto life. I got to give his little Bitcoin baby his first silver piece when we were in Texas, and I got to squeeze his little cheeks. He's so cute.
Daddy, there's no disclaimer on that. It actually says in the stuff that they wrote to be used for crack cocaine.
Are you kidding me?
Methamphetamines. It says that in the bill. Yeah. Daddy said,
well, I guess that's like the
violation of any law, and it specifically says that.
I guess that's like those things where they give them free needles.
Well, there's free needles too. Yeah,
clean needles, and then they have now those places where they like let them shoot up there for free or whatever.
What reason is there for crack pipes? Like, you can make an argument for needles because of AIDS and hepatitis and all that kind of stuff. But the only thing we came up with this. Me, Greg Lang from from Rivet, and the head of Dragon Chain. We came up with COVID.
My God!
You don't want to share your crack pipe or your meth pipe because of COVID. We came up with that.
Crack kills you.
Yeah.
So why not die from COVID instead? Like, who cares?
No, because if you have COVID, it's a lot. It's rougher. The crack's a lot harder on you. So is the meth. So yeah.
Oh, I can't. Just
I heard the closest thing ever. It's a comedian, and she told the story because she used to be addicted to meth. And if I tell you, you're going to get so grossed out. And you're already
okay, then let's not say it.
Okay. You should look her up. It's hilarious.
I don't want to.
She's proud of it. I mean, she's not proud of it, but she thinks she's like Bill Nye, the crack girl.
Okay.
Or meth girl.
I don't think I want to know. I'm scared. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow with Divvy Daddy. See you guys soon. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
See y'all
Take
later.
care. Bye.